Mara and Clara were more than just friends. They were practically sisters. They lived in the same compound, shared meals, homework, and even secrets. From their nursery school days, they did everything together. Whether it was eating from the same lunchbox, failing the same math test, or whispering secrets during night preps, they were inseparable. Teachers used to call them two halves of a mango, always sweet and always together. Clara came from a slightly more privileged background. Her parents worked with a big company and were well known in the neighbourhood. Mara's side was different. Her parents were simple traders, managing their small shop and doing their best to provide for the family. But these differences never mattered to the girls. Their bond was pure. After secondary school, things changed. Clara's parents were transferred to another city for work, and just like that, their bond began to fade. The goodbye was teary. They promised to call, to write, to visit, but as life would have it, distance widened more than just miles. It carved silence between them. Messages reduced, then stopped. Fast forward 5 years, Clara was now in her early 20s, dressed in a sleek blazer, driving her modest car on her way to finalize a company contract. Her makeup was neat, her confidence sharp. She had worked hard for this moment. As she waited at a traffic stop, something, or someone, caught her eye. By the roadside, under the hot sun, sat a small wooden corn stall. A woman stood behind it, dressed in faded jeans and a simple t-shirt, calling out cheerfully, "Sweet corn, fresh and hot." Clara squinted. That voice, that face, that smile, it was Mara. Clara blinked in disbelief. Could it really be her? Her old class president? Her best friend? Curiosity got the better of her. Clara parked and stepped out, heels clicking on the pavement. Mara looked up and her face lit up instantly. "Clara? Clara, is that really you?" she beamed, stepping forward, arms open wide. But instead of embracing her old friend, Clara pulled out her phone and started recording. "Well, well, well," she said with a smirk. "Guess who I just found? Our class president, the queen of school debates, now selling corn by the roadside. Isn't life funny?" Mara's smile slowly faded, her hands dropped, her voice caught in her throat. Clara went on, laughing bitterly. "Please don't tell anyone we were friends. I roll with a different class now. I can't be seen with someone like you." Then she pulled out a 500 naira note and tossed it at Mara's feet. "Take. Feed yourself or something." She got back in her car, slammed the door, and drove off, smug and proud. What Clara didn't know was that Mr. Lawrence, the CEO she was going to meet for her contract deal, had witnessed the entire scene from his own car across the street. He watched silently. He saw the tears in Mara's eyes, and he made a quiet mental note. Clara strutted into Lawrence Holdings with all the pride in the world. Her makeup was flawless, her perfume expensive, and her outfit screamed success. Today she was here to secure the biggest deal of her career, a contract that could elevate her business and place her name among the elite. Inside the elegant waiting lounge, she rehearsed her pitch silently. This was her moment. "Mr. Lawrence will see you now." She walked into the office with confidence, offering a polite handshake. Mr. Lawrence greeted her with a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. "Please, have a seat." Clara sat and handed over her file. "Everything you need is in there, sir." He flipped through it. "You have an impressive profile." "Thank you," Clara beamed. "My company has delivered excellence in all our partnerships so far." There was a moment of silence before Mr. Lawrence looked up. "Earlier today, did something happen between you and a woman selling corn by the roadside?" Clara blinked, caught off guard. She scoffed lightly. "Oh, that woman? Yes, she was an old classmate of mine. Mara. It was shocking, really." Mr. Lawrence said nothing, listening. "She used to be our class president. Now she's on the street selling corn. It's just pitiful. I didn't even recognize her at first. Life really hit her hard, I guess." Still, Mr. Lawrence remained silent, his expression unreadable. "I don't want to sound harsh," Clara added with a forced laugh. "But I don't think someone like that should be associated with me anymore. We're not in the same class." Mr. Lawrence clasped his hand slowly. "And did you ever stop to ask why she was there?" Clara laughed. "Sir, with all due respect, some people don't need explanation. She clearly didn't make much of her life." Mr. Lawrence stood up slowly and walked to the window. "Miss Clara," he said, turning to face her, "do you know if she went to university?" "I heard she did," Clara replied, brushing it off. "But look at her now. If she really did, she wouldn't be on the streets." Another pause. Mr. Lawrence leaned back in his chair. "I see. Well, thank you for coming, Miss Clara. I'll get back to you later today." Clara stood, still confident, and smiled. "Looking forward to it, sir." As she left, Mr. Lawrence watched her go with quiet disapproval. Back at the roadside stall, Mara was still tending her fire, slowly roasting golden corn on the metal grill. The sky had begun to turn orange with the setting sun, when a black SUV pulled up quietly in front of her. She glanced up cautiously, the tinted window rolled down. "Good evening," the man said. "Good evening, sir," Mara responded politely. "Can I get 3?" he asked, pointing to the fresh ones turning over the flame. "Of course, sir." She wrapped them neatly in brown paper and handed them over. "That'll be 900 naira, sir." He handed her a crisp note. "Keep the change." "Thank you very much," she replied, grateful. Then, after a pause, he asked, "Mind if I sit and talk for a bit?" Mara looked at him closely and nodded. "Please, have a seat." He stepped out of the SUV and sat on the small stool beside her. She was quiet but alert. "You run this place alone?" he asked. "Yes, sir, I do," she answered softly. He nodded, looking at her hands, steady and hard-working. "You seem dedicated," he said. "Hard-working. That's rare these days." Mara lowered her eyes, a faint blush rising in her cheeks. He leaned in slightly. "Would you be open to a business opportunity?" Her eyes widened. "Yes, sir." Mara sat on the worn stool beside her small fire, her hands trembling slightly, not from fear, but disbelief. The powerful man who'd just bought corn from her, the man sitting calmly next to her, had just offered her something she never imagined. "A business opportunity?" she echoed. Mr. Lawrence smiled warmly. "Yes. I own a company that uses corn-based products. We've been exploring ways to support small businesses and source directly from the local market." Mara blinked, unsure if this was real. "I noticed how clean your stand is, how fresh your corn looks, and how polite you are. You have something many people don't, Mara, genuine work ethic." "Thank you, sir," she said, struggling to hold back tears. "I've just been trying to survive." He nodded. "Tell me, did you go to university?" "I did," she said softly. "Graduated with a first-class degree in food science and technology. But every job I applied for told me I was either overqualified or didn't have the right connections. After a year of trying, I decided to start something small, this corn business." Mr. Lawrence looked at her with admiration. "That's impressive." Mara smiled faintly, still trying to process everything. "So here's my proposal," he continued. "Come to our factory tomorrow by 10 a.m. Let's see how you can fit into our supply chain. If all goes well, I want to support you to expand, maybe even package and brand your own corn products. You've got potential, Mara. Let's not waste it." Mara's heart pounded in her chest. This man, this stranger, was offering her the chance she had prayed for during all those lonely nights under the stars. "I'll be there, sir. Thank you so much." He stood, brushing imaginary dust off his trousers. "Bring samples if you can. And one more thing." She looked up, eyes wide. "Don't let anyone shame you for where you are. You never know who's watching." With that, Mr. Lawrence returned to his SUV and drove off into the golden evening. That night, Mara barely slept. Her mind raced with ideas, fears, excitement. She sat at her small table, carefully sorting the best cobs for roasting and boiling, cleaning them one by one. She steamed a few, roasted others, and even packaged some with leaves and ribbon. Her hands were sore, but her spirit was alive. By morning she had everything packed neatly in a basket. She wore her cleanest gown, ironed it crisply and tied her hair back. No makeup, no perfume, just pure, hard-working Mara, ready to walk through a door she'd waited years to find. As she stepped out, her neighbour, Mama Maria, called out, "You day go early today, Mara." Mara smiled, her eyes gleaming. "Yes, Ma, I'm going to change my life." And with that, she walked toward the bus stop. Not as a street corn seller, but as a woman stepping boldly into her destiny. Clara strutted into her living room in 6-inch heels, her designer bag slung on one arm and her phone clutched in the other. She tossed the bag on her white leather couch and let out a satisfied sigh. "I nailed that presentation," she said to herself, grinning at her reflection in the mirror above the TV. Mr. Lawrence must be impressed. She poured herself a glass of wine and sat, crossing her legs delicately, still refreshing her phone for a call or message. Nothing. But she wasn't worried. Men like Mr. Lawrence always called back, she told herself. She had played her part perfectly, dressed smart, spoke confidently, highlighted her elite clientele portfolio. And of course, she made it very clear she had no time for mediocre people, like the girls she saw selling corn earlier. She chuckled to herself, pulling up the video she had posted online the day before. Mara's face, dusty and tired, frozen mid-sentence as Clara's voice mocked her. "Guess who I saw today? Our class president turned roadside corn hawker." Can you imagine? The comments were mixed. Some laughed with her, some scolded her. She ignored the criticism. "Jealous people," she muttered, sipping her wine. The next morning, Clara applied a fresh coat of lipstick and wore her power suit. Today, surely, was the day Mr. Lawrence would call. She refreshed her phone again. Nothing. By noon, impatience kicked in. She dialed his number. It rang out. No answer. "Maybe he's in a meeting," she said to herself, pacing. She sent a polite follow-up email. No reply. By evening, Clara was pacing more aggressively. She opened Instagram and clicked on Mr. Lawrence's company's page. Her breath caught. The post read, "Excited to welcome a new partner for our corn supply chain. We believe in talent, not titles. True success wears humility." Beneath the caption was a photo. Mara, in her neatly pressed gown, smiling shyly beside Mr. Lawrence, holding a sample basket of corn. Clara's wineglass dropped from her hand and shattered. No, this must be a joke," she whispered, clicking on the image, zooming in to be sure. It was Mara, looking nothing like she did the day Clara mocked her. She looked proud, poised, beautiful. Her hands trembled. Suddenly her phone rang. She grabbed it, but it wasn't Mr. Lawrence. It was a number from the licensing board. "Miss Clara," the voice said, "we regret to inform you that due to a reported incident of unprofessional behaviour and violation of ethical standards, your business licence has been suspended, pending further investigation." "What?" Clara shouted. "This is a mistake. Who reported me?" "We advise you to check your recent public conduct. This is a serious matter." The line went dead. Clara sank to the floor, hands on her head, the room spinning. In one moment, the girl she thought she humiliated had become her silent downfall. The company's training room buzzed with murmurs as employees and executives gathered to meet the woman behind their new corn supply deal. Some had heard rumours, others had seen the company's social media post praising a humble vendor turned partner. But no one expected what walked through the glass doors that morning. Mara. Her once dusty gown was replaced with a tailored mustard yellow suit. Her braids were neatly packed into a bun, and her confidence radiated like morning sunshine. She clutched a brown folder and walked behind Mr. Lawrence, her new mentor and sponsor. Whispers floated through the air. That's her. She was the one selling by the roadside? She looks amazing. Mr. Lawrence cleared his throat. Everyone, meet Miss Mara Obi. She is not only the head of our new corn supply chain, but a shining example of what passion and perseverance look like. There was a short round of applause. Mara stood up to speak. Thank you, she said softly. I started my corn business not because I had no ambition, but because I was overqualified and overlooked. I didn't wait for doors to open. I built a table at the roadside instead. And now, with Mr. Lawrence's support, we're expanding beyond anything I ever imagined. Gasps of admiration filled the room. Meanwhile, in a cramped one-bedroom apartment across town, Clara sat in front of her laptop, scrolling furiously. Her inbox was empty. Her social media video deleted. Her license still suspended. And the buzz online was no longer about her company. It was about Mara. She threw the laptop aside and buried her face in her hands. Back at the office, Mr. Lawrence and Mara walked toward the executive lounge. I want you to meet the board next week, he said. We'll be drafting a 5-year expansion plan. Your brand is strong, Mara. Let's make it national. Mara nodded, eyes gleaming. I'm ready. Just as they reached the car park, a voice called out. Miss Mara! She turned. It was a young woman, carrying a tray of roasted corn. Her apron was stained, her face sweaty. You inspired me, she said breathlessly. I started selling too. Maybe one day I'll grow like you. Mara's smile widened. Don't stop. You never know who's watching. She bought 2 pieces of corn and handed one to Mr. Lawrence. Still the best taste in the world, he chuckled. And you've got the heart to match it. As they drove off, the billboard across the highway flashed a new ad. From the roadside to the boardroom. Mara's corn. A taste of resilience. And inside that car, Mara closed her eyes, remembering the girl who once stood in the dust, calling out for customers, never knowing that her moment was on the way. Mara Obi was now the proud CEO of Mara's Gold Corn, a brand stocked in supermarkets, served in hotels, and loved by homes across the country. Her name was printed in magazines, her story shared on talk shows. But she never forgot where she came from. Every month, she funded grants for street vendors, especially those like her, once ignored and mocked. It was a quiet Saturday afternoon when Mara strolled into a popular supermarket to pick up groceries. She wore a simple dress, no makeup and flat shoes, her usual disguise for days like this when she just wanted to feel normal again. As she moved down the aisle, her eyes landed on a familiar figure. A woman in a faded uniform was standing near a display, calling out to customers. Buy one, get one free. Please help me meet my target. Mara paused. The voice. The eyes. It was Clara, the once high-class, polished, sharp-tongued Clara. Her heels were worn out. Her makeup was melting in the heat. She looked around nervously, as if ashamed to be seen. Clara noticed her and froze. Mara, she breathed, her voice trembling. You're here? Mara gave a gentle smile and nodded. I came to get groceries. Clara looked away, her pride shattering. I'm sorry, Mara. For everything. I lost my license. My business. Everything. I've been trying to survive. I was wrong. So wrong. The supermarket was getting quiet. Customers passed by, uninterested. Clara blinked back tears. I don't expect you to forgive me, she added quickly. I just needed to say it. Mara studied her for a moment, then stepped closer and quietly said, I forgave you a long time ago. Clara's lips quivered. I'm expanding again, Mara continued. New branches, more hands needed. Would you be interested in joining my team? Clara gasped. You? You'd offer me a job after all I did? Mara nodded. People change. And sometimes a fall teaches you more than success ever could. For the first time in years, Clara smiled, not the forced kind she gave to customers, but a smile of hope. Yes, please, I'd be honoured. Mara reached into her bag and gave her a business card. Come by the office Monday morning. Let's build something better together. As Mara walked away with her basket of groceries, Clara stared at the card in her trembling hand. The logo shone bright. Mara's gold corn. Outside the supermarket, Mara stepped into her sleek car, her driver opening the door. As they drove off, she looked out the window, whispering to herself, from the roadside to the boardroom, and now giving someone else a second chance. She had come full circle. If you were in Mara's position, would you forgive Clara? Let us know in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and tell us where you're watching from.